So I should just explain, before I go into this episode of the Film and TV Corner, why I have two microphones. I thought I'd probably better give this a mention in case you noticed and thought she's a bit obsessed with the sound of her own voice. It's not that. It's an experiment. Obviously, this is both a video and a podcast. So I want to make sure that I'm getting the best sound quality, particularly for the podcast, but for both, really. So I want to see which one works best. Film and TV Corner. I absolutely love this film, and from a mindset point of view, absolutely brilliant watch. The film I'm focusing on is The Martian. It's a great film, and the funny thing is, actually, there is an immediate mindset observation to be made about this film. When I went to see it, I'd seen the trailer and I knew what the story was. It stars Matt Damon as Mark Watney, and the basic story is he gets stranded on Mars. Now, if you think about any other space-related film where there is a massive life or death situation, because that's what this deals with, you would expect it to be pretty high-intensity drama. You know, if you think about any of the others, Gravity, Interstellar, Apollo 13, any films in that sort of vein have a tendency to be, again, high-intensity drama. So that's what I was expecting. It is so light-hearted, this film. It's unbelievable. I honestly anticipated something entirely different. It's so light. It's so not dramatic. It has its moments, but for the most part, not dramatic at all. The reason for that is the first lesson in mindset that we can take away from the film The Martian. The reason is they are so stoic in their approach to everything. Absolutely everything. Now, when you think about astronauts and what they have to do, you kind of expect there to be problems. The whole idea, the whole nature of going into space and completing a mission and doing whatever it is that you do, and then getting back home again, is a sequence of problem solving. So they expect it. It's part of the journey. Now, for me, that probably is the strongest, most powerful message that I take from this film. We all need to be doing that. We all need to be doing that. If you take that approach to any project, any pursuit of any goal, anything, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong because you can't be derailed. Now, don't get me wrong. Things go hideously wrong over the course of this film, and they have to deal with so much and under ridiculous pressures. As I say, this is life or death. You could totally understand it if they lost it ever so slightly and got panicked and got scared and what have you, but because they go into it seeing these problems as being just an expected part of the journey, they can handle it. I mean, I look at that and I think, if we all did the same thing, if you embark on anything, any pursuit, any goal, project, whatever it is that you're doing, expect there to be problems. There are always problems. Can you ever think of a time when you've embarked on something, especially something that takes a while, and certainly something that means a lot to you? It matters. The minute something clicks in your head, I don't know if it's the cosmos that kicks in, something happens, and you go, this is important, gotta get this right. Instantly things start going wrong, and and it's infuriating, particularly if it's technical. I mean, for goodness sake, I've got two microphones, a laptop, a phone, tripods, and I don't know if you've seen the nature of this. Look, this tripod, this platform, this technical platform here, is a 1,000-piece Disney puzzle. So, I'm really good with the technical stuff. The minute something goes wrong, I can't, because I'm fine with stuff that I know how to control. But with technical stuff, it's so difficult because sometimes, with technical stuff, it's so difficult to fix sometimes, particularly if you're not an expert in that field, and you need the patience of a saint to be able to deal with that kind of thing. So I've started taking the approach, not just since watching The Martian, but that certainly reinforced it in my head, but I've started taking the approach of expect things to go wrong. It's going to go wrong. Of course it's going to go wrong. Why wouldn't it? Everything does. That's a bit negative. But it's not that everything does go wrong, but there are always problems. So sod it. You know, if you go into it knowing that, then you can't get irate and angry and frustrated and infuriated, or at least not too much, when it happens, because you knew it was going to happen. This film totally, it's the epitome of stoicism and growth mindset. It's so good, the approach that they take. So, right off the bat, that's the most powerful message in the film. Now, the second lesson that I think we should all be taking away from this film, and certainly that I did from a mindset point of view, is it's actually born out of one line. And the line is, fuck you, Mars. That's it. Now, the reason I said it with a sigh is, so if he'd been angry, you know, going, oh, fuck you, Mars, you know what I mean, that kind of thing, you'd understand it. He's going through a hell of a lot, and it would appear as though Mars is against him in some way. And we're all guilty of this. Every now and again, we can all get the sense of, why me? Why is everything going wrong for me right now? This is, it's attacking me. The world is against me. The universe has it in for me, or whatever. We can all fall foul of that. And the problem is, say, you know, you'll read this message left, right, and centre. You can't really do that, because it very quickly leads to a victim mentality. And if you have a victim mentality, you will eventually become a victim. That's the way it works. So you need to take it in your stride. Nothing's actually out there trying to get you. Mars wasn't really out trying to get him. So it's interesting that he uses the line, but not in anger. The sense that you get from it is, it's his way of putting two fingers up to Mars and the problems that he's facing, and saying, screw you, you're still not winning. There's this air of acceptance in the way that he says it. So he is totally admitting that he's knackered, that he's stressed, that this sucks. You know, on no level, he's not one of those, you know, he's not bouncing around like there's nothing wrong. You know, sometimes you can be in that situation where you look at someone and you think, okay, there's being positive and there's being oblivious. You know, and he's not oblivious. He knows what's going on, and he's cheesed off. He is. So when he says, fuck you, Mars, it's in this way that almost says, I admit that I'm knackered. I admit that I'm frustrated, but you're not winning. You're still not getting the better of me. And again, really inspirational. Lesson number 3, the captain, because obviously Mark Watney is originally part of a crew. The crew lands on Mars. For some reason, Mark Watney gets left behind, and the rest of the crew go on to continue the rest of their mission. They have, of course, like any crew going into space, they have a captain. And it's interesting, she does show some very strong leadership. She ultimately was the person who opted to leave Mark Watney behind. So there's a hell of a lot of pressure on her in that particular situation. But she's fine to say, no, this one's on me. It takes a lot of strength to do that. And I've encountered a lot of leaders, managers, and business owners and what have you who aren't willing to do that. They're not willing to take that ultimate responsibility. They will happily share that burden with their team. Now, I'm not saying that a good leader has to take responsibility for everything. You know, if a colleague falls off their chair in the office over there, go, sorry, that must have been me, I'm the leader, it must have had something to do with me. You don't have to take responsibility for absolutely everything. But, you know, things like that, absolutely, the buck stopped with her. That's pretty inspiring from a leadership point of view. But actually, that wasn't the best lesson that I took away from her character. The captain, you'll notice I keep not saying her name. I can't remember her name. Sorry. I should really look it up. I've got to really, again, do your research. We'll just keep calling her Captain. It's fine, you'll know who I mean. The key message that I take away from her actually comes later. So they're encountering their own problem on board their spacecraft. Their advantage, their massive advantage, is they totally expect there to be problems. So again, she takes this amazing outlook on it, and there's a particular bit where they have to accelerate, but they don't have enough power in the craft to accelerate enough to get to where they need to be. She discovers, let's call it a risky way, a risky way of accelerating. So she does this, they do the maths, they type it all out like they do. She says, do the head work with me, and they all do, and they figure it out, and they say, well, yeah, the math checks out. It would work. It's dangerous, high risk, but in theory, yeah, it would speed us up. It would get us to the velocity that we need. So they go with it. But then, instantly, even before it happens, so they haven't done what it takes, they haven't sped up yet, one of the crew turns around and says, yeah, but you're forgetting that minutes later or an hour later or whatever, we need to slow down. And if we do what you're planning to do, we're not going to be able to just slow down in the usual way. So what are we going to do? And as I say, I think it's about an hour that they have. So her response to that is, well, that gives us an hour to figure out how to slow down. Go. And that's it. She just goes with it. Now, what I love about this is the fact that we're always being told this, and this is absolutely true. Don't wait until you have all the answers before you start. Take it one step at a time. If you know what the first 1 or 2 steps are, take those and figure the rest out as you go along. It can be very, very difficult to do, but that is a perfect demonstration of that mindset trait. Just crack on and have faith in your own intellect, your own ability, your own skill, and your own team as well, to be able to figure out a solution to the next problem when it comes up. Just deal with one at a time. This film totally demonstrates that. The captain totally demonstrates that. And it meant so much to me that I immediately forgot her name. So those are some key lessons that you can take away from the film The Martian. Give it a watch. Please do let me know what you think. Certainly, if you like this kind of thing and you want to hear more, please do hit the subscribe button. There's going to be plenty more where this comes from. If at any point as well you want to hone your mindset skills and you want to do some of the head work yourself, please do also look at the other videos on the channel, because the head work section covers all of this, and I will talk you through how you can improve your mindset and develop some of these key mindset traits. Enjoy the film, The Martian, give it a watch, and I will speak to you soon.